3, 2, and we're live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Good Morning Show with Candy Bryan. I am with my guest, Rich Fontaine. Good morning, Rich.
Good morning, Candy.
And we're going to jump in this morning. I think it's going to be a great discussion, a much needed discussion, and we get to learn a little bit more. Rich has been my guest before, and he returned, so that is always a good sign. He's back. I want to say good morning to you. Thank you for taking time out of your morning to join us on the Good Morning Show. We are your place of faith and encouragement, inspiration, and hope in the morning. And I hope that's how we can start your morning with today's broadcast.
Yes.
So I want to introduce all of you to this amazing author, speaker. I'm going to let you
Humble.
elongate that list of accolades because it's quite impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, just for your audience that did not see the interview a few weeks ago, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Rich Fontaine. Let's give you a little bit of background. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, with two parents that started with very minimal means, both from the small island of Haiti, where we didn't even have a place to live when we first moved. When my mother was pregnant with me, we were jumping from house to house to house before my father was able to get enough credit to purchase a home for us to live in, where we ended up living in not in the best neighborhoods. Grew up where we are in the wintertime, our heater would break, and so we wouldn't have hot water. So my mother would take water, boil it, mix it with the cold so we could take warm baths. We used to even have to iron the sheets just to have a warm bed to sleep at night. And an area where it was, a lot of drugs, a lot of hustlers, used to sell right in front of my house. And my parents used to always just try to talk to me about our environment to say, hey, even though you live in this area, doesn't mean you have to be a product of your environment. Even though they try to instill that in me, I still got myself into troubles, juvenile detention, getting arrested multiple times, until one day I had to really change my life because I was broke and broken. I didn't have anything happening and I was aimless. And even though I went to go to college because to get further education, I got kicked out of college twice.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't graduate until my third attempt. But at my third attempt, my mindset shifted when I started reading about mentors. I started getting mentors and I started to get more focused. And I realized that it's all mindset. And for us to get from where we are to where we want to be is a shift in paradigm and a shift in thinking. And once I shifted that thinking, I saw my life change completely from aimless, constantly getting arrested, constantly getting in trouble, to graduating with a bachelor's in civil engineering, project engineer for places like Disney and Universal Studios. Also writing multiple books. I'm a Les Brown certified speaker. As you can see, my certification there on the wall, where he endorsed my book, Destiny on Purpose, How to Get What You Truly Want Out of Life. And that just kind of set me on a trajectory of getting interviewed with people just like Candy. And I hope my story inspires people, because you can make that shift from aimless and trouble and broke. I was constantly broke. I was ever telling my friend, like, hey, man, let's go out tonight. Man, I don't got no money. Can you pay for me? Because it was always broke, until I came to the realization it's not the world doing it to me. It's me doing it to myself. It was my habits. It's the way I thought. The way I did things was keeping me broken. But as I shifted in myself, that's when things changed. My mentor, Jim Rohn, always says, Rich, for things to change, you have to change. And for things to get better, you have to get better. And as I took that seriously and I started working on myself, that's when I really started seeing the change exterior. But it also happened first interior before I saw it exterior.
Oh my gosh, it's only been 3 minutes and you every nugget before people can jump on. So you're probably going to have to repeat some of this, Rich. I want to say good morning to a couple of folks. Your story, even the first part of your story, is so just full of wisdom and knowledge that you're sharing with everyone. So we're going to give people a few minutes to join us so we could actually deliver this to them. Because I'm like, man, he's going. He's like, that's so good.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I
just go, man. I just go.
You're going. So say good morning to a few viewers this morning. I want to thank you each for tuning in. My guest is Rich Fontaine this morning, and his website is The Power of Self. Is it powerofself.com?
Powerofselfent.com.
ENT.com. Thank you for that.
Stands for entertainment, because we do entertainment and publishing, like showing events, as well as the publication side. Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And I would love for everyone who's tuning in right now, we're talking about getting wealth. Rich shared some of his stories, really his testimony about coming from a place where his family didn't have a lot. And at times he was saying didn't even have heat to heat the house. He went into detail, even last time he went into detail about getting into trouble, getting kicked out of school, getting arrested, right? So I can tell your story myself. But I would love for each and every one of you that are tuning in this morning to please tag someone that you know is wanting to create wealth, wanting to change the whole direction of generations to come, generational wealth, building. And if you know someone like that, or maybe it's just you, share it. Hit the share button right now where you are watching in your window there on your cell phone. You should have a share button. Click the share button or tag someone's name. Just use the @ symbol and write their name, and they'll be alerted to come back and watch this maybe later. Maybe they won't join us right now, but this is going to be something that will change the trajectory of your life financially, I believe, which is why I have Rich back. Everyone that comes on the show, Rich is someone who is going to move the needle slightly.
Absolutely.
In people's lives. Like, we don't just have interviews to have interviews on the Good Morning Show. I believe that the show is full of purpose. And when we have a guest, they have a gift to share. And it's usually in whatever area that's in. And for Rich, it's how to move yourself into a place where you're gaining wealth, where you're successful, where you're using wisdom and knowledge. Am I on target here?
You're on target. You're definitely on target. And I just want to say that I'll just say this for a second. So my book, Destiny on Purpose, is called The Destiny on Purpose, The 20 Laws of Success, right? One of the 19th law is the law of wealth and money management in this book, the law of wealth and money management. Now, I just want to explain why it's all the way at 19th, right? So there's 18 laws before you even get to the money part. See, we all want the wealth, but there's aspects that you want to consider before you even approach the aspects of wealth. See, we are threefold beings, I believe, living simultaneously on 3 planes: your mental plane, your physical plane, and your spiritual plane. So you want to master your mindset first before you ever jump into the concept of wealth. And you want to create habits that will produce wealth before you even start going after wealth. And you have to be spiritually inclined, I believe, because there's going to be a lot of temptations for you to squander the money that you've collected and saved. Because when you're whole, you know where your aim is, and nothing will shift you off your aim. But when you're not whole, anyone could come with a pretty penny. It happened to me. Trust me. I wasn't whole yet. So I'm saving money. And someone said, hey, man, I got a great opportunity for you. Oh, and this can make you a millionaire, Rich. Oh, really? Here, take my money. Didn't happen. And I would squander these opportunities because I wasn't spiritually in a place where I knew what I wanted, and I was disciplined enough to stay focused on what I wanted and not get caught in multiple distractions that take you away from the path that you started to set yourself on. Because it will happen. The distractions, I promise you, will happen. So it's not the outside world. It's you that has to be steady in yourself, like a statue. Steady. Okay, I know what I want, and I'm going to get that. And anything else that does not align with that, it has to be pushed to the side. It has to be secondary. And it took me years to understand this, that I thought it was just money. I just, oh yeah, I just get money and then, I ball out and all these things, but it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, are you centered in your heart space? Are you centered in your heart space? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's a great place to start this morning. We're going to say good morning to a few folks that have joined us now. And good morning. That was Anna Martinez from New Jersey. If you are there and we don't know where you're tuning in from, could you let us know where you're tuning in from? But we know Anna because she's always watching the Good Morning Show.
Hi, Anna.
Lisa, good morning. Good morning. Who else is with us? Allison Hill, good morning. Tell us where you're tuning in from. And Anna says, yes, brother man, been there.
I feel like we all have.
It took many years to get in the line, she said. I want to start at the beginning. I know that we're only going to be here till 8:15 Eastern time. So we're going to try to cram this in. I want to start here. I want to start with the event that's coming up.
Yes.
And then talk to us a little bit about doing the heart work, because it sounds like you said there is work that needs to be done before we can really be wealth builders. There's an internal work that can be done, but I want to know what people are going to experience at your conference that will get them on that path, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. We have an event this Saturday on June 20th. It is an all-day workshop, and it's called Right to Grow Rich, from my book here, Right to Grow Rich, where I teach you all the aspects on how to write, how to create a writing schedule, how to publish yourself, how to market yourself, and actually produce money, residual, passive income while using your intellectual property. And I go through every single step with you. And I try to make it so simple that a child can do it. Like, I wrote this book that you could give this to your 10-year-old and they'll be able to start writing and producing books at a massive rate. Also, it comes with a writing schedule, because our time if we don't set time for things, they will not happen. My calendar is always full of activities and events. Why? Because it keeps me focused. So when I start on, like today, Monday morning, I look at my calendar for the week and I say, I know where my week is going. So my week is never random because I know where it's going. So if you set yourself a writing schedule, you're putting yourself on the path. Also, even make it more simple, even has a step-by-step guide where I guide you through the whole entire process. I even have screenshots of the publication. So all you do is follow and fill it in to move yourself forward. So this program is not only to teach you how to write and publish, but to become a business person. What hurts most authors is they just think they're authors, but they're entrepreneurs. If you are selling a product yourself, you are an entrepreneur. So you have to think like a business person or like a business, because that's how you manage your money. That's how you can budget and reinvest into your company, which I do constantly. And that's how you can grow your company. But you have to see yourself as a business, not just an individual that writes. And that just is a little shift in paradigm. And so that's where we're going to go through the whole step. And the best part about the event is you're going to leave the event with a published book. We're going to go step by step with you. If you're going to sit on your computer, we're going to have you log in and you're going to create and publish your book, which is going to be sent to you in a couple of weeks from the time of Saturday. So you can shift your paradigm and say, I am an actual author. I am a real author. I went through all the steps. So when you do it again for multiple, another book, it becomes second nature. It becomes very easy. And then you can write books. And I'm on my eighth book. So yeah, it's amazing. And just, these are all the techniques I use. So I don't hold anything back. I like to give all the value. So I give you all the techniques that I personally use.
I love that. First of all, I need to go and find, I have your Amazon page pulled up too, because I wanted to show that. But I need to find a page that's got all of your books on it. I don't know if that's on your website.
It is. If you go to shop.
Okay, I'm going to find that as we're talking. So,
okay.
So the conference, you don't have the tickets. I bet you they're gone already, aren't they?
Unfortunately, yes. We sold all of our free tickets. I mean, we have tickets left, but all of our free tickets are gone. But I'm going to say this for anyone that's always hesitant about the exchange of money, right? everything has a cost.
Yeah.
Everything has a cost. I went to an event once that was free. They gave you the option. They said, hey, you can have a free ticket, or for $200, you could sit up front in the first 3 rows. Me and my wife paid the money to sit up front in the first 3 rows. Why? It's a paradigm shift. You ever see like in the classroom, the kid in the back of the class, he doesn't really learn that much. He's not really there to get the education. He's like, all right, let me get to this class and go home. Yeah. While the kid in the front class is the one raising their hands, the one actually accumulating the knowledge up front. So that's my mindset. I want to, whatever I do, I want to learn fully. And I want to be fully engaged in whatever I do. And that's what teaches me to create what I create. So whenever you're trying to do, don't ever be afraid to spend. I don't like to spend the money. Invest in yourself.
That's better. That's the best way to say it. I love that.
Invest in yourself. So don't ever be afraid to, because what happens with the upper costs, they come with better tiers. They come with videos. Yeah. They come with the calendars and the books already. So actually on the top tier, you get a copy of Destiny on Purpose automatically. It comes with. You get the writing guide. You get the writing schedule, and you get the book and the audiobook and the videos and the accountability call. So you get so many different things within what you're paying or what you're investing with. So not only will you write your book, I'll be personally emailing and calling you to make sure you're on task and on target.
Ooh, yeah, you gotta be ready for that.
Yes, scares a lot of people, but sometimes when you have accountability, it pushes you forward. Pushes you forward.
Absolutely.
So I always tell my wife all my dreams and all my aspirations, so she could always come back and say, hey, Rich, are we still on goal? Are we still on task? Are we still on target? Because not only do I not want to disappoint myself, I don't want to disappoint her. And so it always keeps me pushing and moving. Oh yeah, that's my Amazon page. My 3 books that I have on there. My 4th book is not on Amazon. You can only get that one from my website. And my other books actually are going to be finalized. It will be ready by August. One I might be pushing till December because I want to be really good for Christmas. So
that's absolutely awesome. And I was telling the people that are watching, you guys got to be ready for the accountability check-in, because can I share a little something about the investing in yourself piece?
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking to your point, I had been trying to work out and become consistent for years. It's just never been my strength. I go to school, I went to school, got my bachelor, got my master's. I go to work. I am a worker bee, and I'd love to create things. So I'm, always in some kind of business arena. And my health took a toll. I shared on the last broadcast that I was so out of balance, where I was all work, all school, all events and networking, and I wasn't taking time out to take care of my physical health. As you may know, I'm a cancer survivor. So that sometimes life will give you that paradigm shift. If you don't make it,
Amen.
It will make it for you. And so even after the cancer, struggling just to eat clean and work out consistently with all the things that, a mom and a wife had to do. So I invested in myself, and I hired one of the people who was on the show as a regular, Rio Winfrey from Rio Fitness. He's part of the Friday crew. I was like, Rio, I'm gonna schedule a package of Sundays, because I know that Sunday's my day. It's literally a day to rest, but it's a day to really rejuvenate.
Yes.
I said, I'm going to commit to these days. And we worked out those Sundays and the accountability during the week of having your coach contact you to say, how did you eat today? Did you work out? You have to, it is a shift. It was an investment in myself, but I couldn't do it alone.
No.
I couldn't do it alone. So I think what you were saying is great.
Yeah, you can't do it alone. I mean, it's when you have somebody that's on your side, just having somebody that cares enough about you to be real with you. Yeah. That's really what it is because we have some friends and some family like, oh, no, girl, you good. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, you fine. You look great. But you have somebody that really, no, I care about your health enough that I may be a little bit in your face. It's not to shame you, but it's to be that person to say, hey, I don't want to disappoint them. So, you know what? I'm going to step up for them. If I can't even do it for myself, at least you could do it for Rich Fontaine. So if you
Yeah.
can't write for yourself, you know, I'm gonna write for Rich. You know, Rich hold me down. Rich give me a great workshop. Let me write this for Rich.
Yeah.
It shifts for you when you're doing for somebody else. I think when you could do something for somebody else, it's a different energy. It's a way different energy.
So talk about the first time that you started making money off of your business, because I love the way, and you said it last time on the broadcast, that if you're a writer or if you have, you know, a talent, you are the business and you have to operate as such. You know, when I started broadcasting, I share this all the time, that people started asking, you know, how do you use StreamYard, and how are you, you know, doing all these social media tools and pulling them together so nicely? And I was like, okay, well, you know, just come to a free class. The free class was a great entry point so they could learn a little bit about what I do. But after that, like, I was posting courses for one-on-one sessions, and those have a fee. Now I've been hired to be a virtual director. I've gotten my first couple clients for virtual directing, which is new in the pandemic. That's like a new thing. I'm creating that space for myself where people need to direct a full out broadcast or conference. I'm your girl, by the way. That was a shameless plug for
no, hiring market. There's nothing wrong marketing.
Hire me to direct your conference. But you know, I think that we become the business, and I love that. But talk to us about the first time you experienced
absolutely
money.
You know, I mean, I wish we had longer than a half hour because there's so much. Like I have so much to give where I just can't give it
time. Take your time.
Take your time. Okay, so there's a thing. If you ever read the book The Alchemist, right? When you're chasing your dreams, there's a thing called beginner's luck, right? I experienced the beginner's luck. It's like the universe wants you to succeed before it gets, because it will get a little rocky for you. But the very first time, usually sometimes you exceed so well because the universe wants to show you like, hey, you can do this. You can't do this. So the very first event I've ever had, my very first book launch, I made $700. And for me, that was big. It's not a huge amount of money for some people, but for me, it was big because it was my very first book, my very first event, and we killed. We killed. We came home and we were like, well, we made $700, and we got sponsored for the event, so we didn't have to pay for the venue or anything. So it was all profit. And that showed me that you can create a business doing anything. My father used to tell me as I was growing up, I told him, hey, I want to be a writer one day. He said, there's no money in that. There's no money in being a writer. And I proved to him and myself that there is. There's money in doing anything that you truly, truly love. So becoming a business is thinking like the business does. So I don't think like Rich Fontaine. I say, what would McDonald's do? What would Amazon do? What would Google do in this situation? What would Facebook do in this situation? So I try to think like the big businesses. How do they market? Even when I do my website, I designed it. I went to multiple high-end people, high-end businesses, and I looked at their website and I said, okay, I like how they do that. This is visually appealing. Okay, I like how they have it easy to shop. And I took those keys and I implemented in my own business. Because some people, I look at their websites, and not to diss anyone, sometimes we don't have the best team or the best knowledge. And I look at some websites, they're complicated, they don't look visually appealing. You know, it takes me so many pages just to shop. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all right, you know, I'll just shop later. And I never shop. Right. So I always ask myself, what is easy for the end consumer?
Right.
What is easier for the end consumer? So that's one. That's your marketing aspect. And Tony Robbins said, business is only two things. If your audience could get this, it will launch their business. It'll launch it. Only two things, two simple aspects, businesses.
I got my pen.
All right, you writing this down. Innovation and marketing. That's it. That's all business really is innovation and marketing.
Wow, that's good. That's really good.
Oh man, when Tony told me this, I said, all right, Tony, I got you, brother. Because when you innovate, you are taking something and say, how can I improve it? Like all Redbox did was take Blockbuster and improve it. All Google did was take Yahoo and improve it. That's it. They said, okay, these things already exist. How can I improve? All Facebook did was take MySpace and improve it. That's the innovation part. That's all the innovation part. It's like, how can I make something that already exists easier for the end consumer, better for the end consumer, serve more people in a way that they're not being served right now.
Right.
All Uber is taking the taxi service and innovating it. That's it. And making billions of dollars of taking something that already existed and increasing it. That's one. The second is marketing. And your best marketing is word of mouth. When your best friend tells you, this is the best thing you got to get this, it's way better than any advertisement you'll ever see. So treating people well, giving them the best service is the best marketing you could ever have. Awesome. I overextend. For the price, even the workshop, for what you're getting, like I was talking to my wife, she's like, Rich, this is like worth $1,000+ of this workshop. And I said, yes, you're right. I'm gonna cut that in half. Why? Because I want to over deliver. I want you to leave that workshop like, man, this is one of the best things I've ever, this is way worth the money that I used.
Sure.
Way worth the money I used. When you could think, that's when people say, hey man, how you writing so many books? Oh, you gotta go to this workshop. You have to go. The first I learned how to do money management, I learned it from a place called MMI. It's called the Millionaire Mind Intensive. Please write this down. It's called the Millionaire Mind Intensive. And this is how great marketing is. I'm actually on their website. I have no affiliation with them. Zero affiliation with them. I was just so inspired by what I learned from this workshop. I emailed them and said, hey, this was one of the greatest things I've ever been to in my life. Thank you for having this. This has changed my life, for me and my wife, tremendously. We used to argue about money. Since that workshop, we've never argued about money once.
Wow.
Not once. And they took my quote and they put it on their website. So I'm literally on their website.
Awesome.
So not only am I marketing myself,
yeah, exactly.
I help market them, and I do it for free because it changed my life in that many ways. In such a way that me and my wife were able, just hear this, we're able to save $25,000 in just 2 years. And not changing our lifestyle whatsoever.
Yeah.
25,000 in 2 years without changing our lifestyle whatsoever. And it's the same thing I reteach in my classes and in my books. If you go to Destiny on Purpose, the money management chapter, also I'll be coming with a book called Success 101, teaching the basics of business and entrepreneurship. Just the basics of money management, which I know we don't have much time, but I want to give you something. Is it okay if we extend a little bit?
Of course. Like I have more questions, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just want to give people just a little bit of value. I want to give you 3 keys, just 3 keys, okay? Key number 1. You know what, 4 keys, sorry. Key number 1, you have to find a way to open up your heart space. To make every decision within the spirit, not the flesh. And it's more difficult than it sounds. To make every decision you make from the spiritual, not the flesh. Because the flesh is needy. It's needy. You know, it's very needy. It's like, hey, that's why you get tricked to opportunities. Hey, man, I got an opportunity to make $1 million. Yes. That comes from lack. That comes from I need something. When you make decisions out of your heart space, you know you don't need anything. Everything you want is within you. Everything you could ever want in your life is within you. You are the vessel that produces anything and everything you want. So you don't need anything else. Your flesh would say, I need food, I need water, I need clothes, I need cars, I need houses. Your heart says, you don't need any of that.
That's good.
You have all you need. That puts a maturity in your decisions, that you're not rushing. Your money's not burning a hole in your pocket. That happens to people. Man, I got to spend this. It's a habit. We get the money, we have to spend it. We have to spend it. I got to buy something. No, you don't. Once you get cold, you don't have to spend your money on it. You could save and you'd be so fine with it. Like that will start hyping you up. Like every time I put money into my bank account, I put a big smile comes on my face. A huge, like just looking at that 25,000 in my account, I'm like, yee. I get giddy, you know. Before,
it does make you happy.
I get a new car. Yeah, I used to get a new shirt. I get giddy. Now I'm like, forget the shirt. I want to put the money in the bank. It's a shift. It's a shift.
That's good.
Pay yourself first. This is important. But every millionaire book, every financial book I've ever read in my life, articles from blogs to vlogs, every last one of them says this one key: pay yourself first before you pay your bills, before you pay the hair, your hair. I wear hats sometimes, you know. I'm like, I could get my barber going, but let me pay myself first. I pay myself first every time. So I take 10% of all I earn. That's gifts, that's presents, that's tax returns, doesn't matter what it is. I pay myself first. At least 10% of anything I earn comes to me first. Okay? That's 2. Number 3 is find a way to create passive income. So that savings that you're doing, that 10%, you don't touch at all until you find something that generates passive income. What passive income is money accumulated that doesn't have to trade time. I don't have to trade time for this money. So when I make money off my books, I already wrote the book. So if money comes in through Amazon, that is only solely passive income or residual income, because I don't have to trade my time for it anymore. I already put my time in, I made the value. All I have to do is market it, and then people pay me for something I already did. So those 3 things. Now, the 4th key is when your passive income exceeds your expenses, you have created wealth. You have created wealth. It's called the wealth ratio.
You got to say that again.
Excellent. When your passive income exceeds your expenses, you have created wealth. So passive income must be greater than. So I'll even write that. So passive income, put your greater inside. Greater inside. So let's do this. Passive income is greater than expenses.
I'm going to put it on the screen. Yes. Okay. Let me hit save, and it's going to pop up right now. There it is.
Perfect. So when your passive income exceeds your expenses, you have created wealth, meaning that your bills are being paid without you doing anything.
Woo! Wait, everybody who had just gotten chills or you want to shout, please give some clap emojis like right now, because I know some of you just joined late and you missed all the fire that came before, but I want to talk about this. Even as we're winding down the broadcast, we're going to talk about this for a second. Because some of us are like, okay, how do I get to the place where I'm making passive income? I'm going to need you to first explain what passive income is. I would like, if you guys are watching right now, click the share button, or you still have time to put someone's name in, because this will be on replay. And I really want people to watch this. We're not going to jump into this right now, Rich, but one of the things that I sent you on Messenger when we were talking is I said, hey, do you think this financial education and literacy changes the dynamic in Black and Brown communities?
All day.
And I know that you know it does. That's why you're so passionate about it.
Yes.
But that's why it's important for us to hit the share button now and to include someone's name who you know needs to make that shift.
It's important.
From poverty mindset to abundant mindset. I mean, I love what you're saying. So first explain what passive income is.
Excellent.
And maybe some examples of what it looks like.
Sure. Excellent. Passive income you can consider is, let's say, an investment that you've made that creates what we call cash flow or residual income without you trading time for money. See, we were brought up, especially in the Black and Brown community, to trade time for money. That's a slave mentality. Why do I call it a slave mentality? Because the slaves were in the field trading time for not really even money, right? They're just trading their time to survive, to live, right? While the master, the owner, sat on the plantation, had the workers work, sat on his butt and tail, and was making money without doing anything. That's why the slave owner was wealthy and the slaves were not. So when you become an owner, and I was just talking to my father this the other day, he said, Rich, the only reason I survive, and he didn't even say thrive. Now, we're not even thriving yet. He said, the only reason I survive is because I own my own business. That's a whole other topic. But he said the only reason I survive, I could pay for your wife, your mother, and I can still help you and your sister out, is because I own my own business. We're not even thrive yet, just to survive, because I own my own business. Okay, and this is a man from Haiti that, I mean, I've seen struggle his whole entire life to finally own his own business, and now he can sit at a place where he can say, I can finally rest my shoulders slightly.
You have a question here, Rich. It says, Anna, thank you for the question. You guys can post your questions as well. How can I get passive income if I'm not an entrepreneur? You have to become an entrepreneur. Is that the answer?
I mean, I would, but you can still invest in other people, right? It says in the good book, and all these concepts, I promise you, are in the good book, all of it. Yeah. Everything you ever wanted to know is in the good book, but you have to understand the good book. So it takes time to read it and really have teachers that can teach it to you. But they said in the good book, you want to be a lender, not a borrower. All passive income is the lending. It's all lending. So say, for example, a storage unit, right? Imagine you took your 10%, you accumulated, and you found a storage unit for $10,000, right? You purchase a storage unit for $10,000. Somebody rents your storage unit for $300 a month. Mm-hmm. Between time, you will, one, get that $10,000 back with the rent. Mm-hmm. Now you are just getting $300 a month without doing absolutely anything. Right. You already put the investment, you already put the time in. So now you could sit and get that $300 a month. That's all passive income is how can I get somebody to rent for me? How can I be a lender, not a borrower? Our issue in the community is we're constantly borrowing. Swipe the credit card. I used to tell my swipe it. We're constantly swiping the credit. What can I get on credit? Hey, sorry.
Rich, you stepping on everybody's toes this morning. I know you guys are still there, and I know you're like, ouch, but it's good. We need to hear it.
Sometimes it's because I care. It's just because I care. I just got to be real with you. I was the same way. Trust me. I've had to clean up my debt tremendously because I constantly was borrowing. Once I stopped borrowing and I started lending, even your bank account. This is so key. Okay. So when you're saving your money, do not, I repeat, do not, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but it's okay. Do not save your money in a traditional bank account. Do not. Do an offshore online bank account. Why? They have higher interest rates. Your bank, especially right now during the pandemic, they're dropping interest rates all the way down to zero. Meaning you put your money in a bank account, you're literally losing money. Because the price of it, as much as the Fed keeps printing money, the value of your dollar decreases. So the only way to upkeep it is to get interest. What is interest? Interest is lending. If I lend the bank money, they pay me interest on my money. So you want to go to a bank that pays you a high interest rate. Got it. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
Okay, because if you go to the bank, you're literally losing money. Yeah. Losing money. I do an offshore bank account that does, they dropped down because of the pandemic, but it was almost at 3%. So I was making 3% of all the money I saved. Right. So I was increasing my money and I was keeping up with inflation. So my money was staying the same. Or some people do Roth IRA. You can do 401ks. I rather do a self-directed Roth because that one you control.
Control it.
So I know there's a lot of information, but when you save your money into an offshore bank account, you are being the lender. So always think, how can I lend, not borrow? How can I make money off my money? That's always my thought. How can I make money off my money?
I think this is going to be like another 30-minute conversation after we end the broadcast.
Yeah.
Last time we ended the broadcast with Rich, I'm like taking notes and I'm asking all these questions about all the things that he's learning. But the thing that I titled today, I believe I wrote Think, Write, and Learn to Grow Rich was the name of this broadcast, because I think in all those areas we're growing and gaining wealth. But the fact that you pointed out the verse of scripture that says, be the lender and never the borrower, it actually is a command.
Oh yeah.
And until you said it, it didn't register that I'm commanded to be the lender, but I've actually just stepped into that space now. Mm-hmm. But if God is commanding that, that's where the blessing is, A.
Yes.
But some of us don't see be the lender and never the borrower. Don't see the lending piece as a command. We're always focused on don't be the borrower, get out of debt, all that stuff. But the first part of that is become the lender. And I'm like, I never saw it as an actual command from God to step into that space, and that changes everything. Like, it just really exploded in my mind.
Yeah, it's a shift in paradigm. You're just going from one dimension to another, of one way of thinking to another. And that's all wealthy people do. They're constantly putting their stuff, have you ever Turo?
Never heard of it.
It's an app. Basically, I can let you borrow my car.
Oh, yeah.
Turo, right. So that's simple stuff. So like she's asked the question, how can I become the lender without being an entrepreneur? Is get on Turo. That's one way. Is I can let people borrow my car and they pay me for it. If your car sits, people, I need 3, 4, 5 cars. If your car's sitting in this garage, it's depreciating anyway.
Right.
So you might as well make money for the stuff you already have. And I want to end it with a story, because I know we have a lot of stuff, but I want to end it with a story to help people out, to kind of put this all together in framework.
That's great. So to bring us home, land the plane, Rich, land the plane.
So a few years ago, this was last year actually, there was an article that came out about 4 young men, I think out of either Detroit, Michigan or Chicago, Illinois. I can't remember. But 4 young black men. They saved and put their money together for 5 years straight. For 5 years, they took 10% of all they earned and they put it into a bank account, offshore bank account, and watched it accumulate. 5 years later, they were able to purchase buildings in their neighborhood. So not only did they start getting passive income, they owned where they lived. So now their grandma doesn't have to worry about being evicted because they own the property. For our community, the only reason why police forces, like if you live in a Section 8, police forces have like an automatic warrant guarantee. They could go to the judge, hey, I need to get a warrant for Section 8 community. Oh yeah, that's easy. They could come in your house, they could come in your neighborhood easily. But if you are a gated community, it takes a lot longer for them to get a warrant into your community. Why? Because they know the people own it there. The people that own the properties in these Section 8 neighborhoods, they don't care about the people in that neighborhood. So what these kids did was they started owning the neighborhood, taking responsibility, ownership. Ownership is the only way we will ever get out of any social restraints. It happens through ownership. When you own your house, you own your city, you own your town, nobody could come in and disrupt it. But when you don't own, you just rent. When you're the borrower, not the lender, they can come in at any point in time because you don't own anything. And you have no assets. So if you have no assets to leverage, they could just come in and say, hey, I can just yank you. I can do whatever I want because I own this place. You just rent. But when you own, you can say, hey, you can't come in mine. You could literally have judge sanction and say, hey, I don't want these police to be in my neighborhood like that. And you can do that when you own. But if you don't own, you don't have the rights. You don't have the same rights as those that own their properties in their neighborhoods.
Wow.
That is the biggest difference, is when you own, you can actually put regulations. You can actually have control. But when you don't own, other people have control. That's where we have to get the control back by owning. That's why I'm so proud of these young men to say, hey, we don't have a lot of money. You don't have to start with a lot of money. They said, let's pull it together and let's start buying the neighborhood. And I promise you, I bet you in 10, 15, 20 years from now, they'll own that whole block.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part about it.
That's really incredible. I'm so grateful that you ended with that story, because I think a lot of us are not necessarily thinking in terms of ownership, and some of us are. And even for those who have been, there might be a next level to step up to, even if you have been with this mindset, the beginning steps. So, Rich, first of all, I don't want us to go. We want to sit here and listen to more. This is so good. Can you please share one more time, and I'll bring it up on the screen here, what our viewers can take advantage of this Saturday?
Yes.
When is it? Where is it? And how do they find out more?
Sure. You can go to thewealthyauthor.com. That's thewealthyauthor.com to register. Again, we don't have any more free tickets, but again, investing in yourself is never a wrong thing to do, ever. I invested thousands and thousands of dollars in myself. That's why I got this knowledge, and I was able to apply it because I was willing to put in forth. Because we'll pay tons of money for colleges.
Yeah.
We won't pay tons of money for us, and you're not guaranteed anything in college. I went to college. You still have to apply those jobs.
That's right.
You still have to go out there and get it. So at least with the skill set, you're able to apply it automatically and start making money directly off your books automatically because you are in the control seat. All this program is to teach you is how to be more in control of your life. When you can control your finances, you can control your life. I promise you, when you step in control. So all we're going to teach you is how to write, how to publish, how to be a business person, and how to really market your material that people will go out and buy. Like if you see my cover, like I have people, I always post people that post my book. Mm-hmm. So people go out and buy my book and they say, hey, Rich, yeah, I bought your book. And it's not like major market. I don't have a major marketing budget. It's just every day I bring this value and people say, I want to know more about him. Obviously he knows some things and I want to get that. I want to know what he knows. Right. And that's all I do. And so again, you could find out more money management by getting the book Destiny on Purpose. And if you buy the higher tier in the program, this book comes automatically with it. And I go through the mental aspects, the physical habits that you have to create, and the spiritual side. The spiritual side is so important that you will not get bamboozled out of your money.
That's good. Please, because so many of us have already been in that place where we had a poverty mindset. And I'm going to get in trouble now for saying this, but we've been bamboozled. And sometimes it's even in the area of multi-level marketing. I got to say it. I'm sorry. Multi-level marketing. It's not my favorite thing. Obviously, I've had some little bit of experience, but I think God opened my eyes very quickly to that wasn't for me. It may be for someone else, but I don't know. Your facial expression is saying so much.
You know, I'm going to keep my mouth closed. I don't want to get in no trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. But I believe ownership is just like owning a billboard, owning a park, owning a home, owning real estate, owning a building, owning like your car. Even having people, you know, somebody tells a story about somebody using their kitchen oven. Like they bought a commercial oven and had people pay the rent to use their commercial oven. I mean, there's so many ways, but we just have to think differently.
We have to think differently. Oh, man. Well, we wish you all the best on your event. For those of you who are going to attend.
June 20th, this Saturday.
June 20th, this Saturday, starting at 9:30 a.m. It's right here on your, it's actually on your Facebook page.
Yes.
But where can they also sign up? They can go to your page and then the Eventbrite link is there.
Correct. There's the page that you have directly up.
Okay.
The Eventbrite link is right there. You can go to my page, and my page is called The Wealthy Author. Just search in the Facebook, The Wealthy Author, and it'll pop right there. And yes, sign up and we're going to try to do this every month. This is going to be our last free event. I apologize. But last time, Candy had some people actually sign up directly from this show. So thank you so much. I got a free event. Yes, I appreciate it.
Guys.
Yes. I have, I think, 4 people actually from that live signed up for the event. Absolutely. So it's the power of marketing, the power of togetherness that we can help share with each other. And lastly, it's togetherness.
Yeah.
That crab in the bucket mentality will never work.
Right.
Zig Ziglar said, if you want to get what you want, help enough people get what they want. That's how it works. You want what you want, you help enough people get what they want. And I promise you, the wealth, it just comes. That's why it's the 19th chapter of the book, because there's so many different things about giving, the laws of karma, the laws of positivity. Because when you create that positive energy, it's like, it's like the universe says, cool, you're an empty cup, an empty vessel. Let me just throw things your way.
I love it. I need to go find that quote from Zig Ziglar, because it's funny how if you do open up your spirit and your heart to follow God's purpose, he'll start to download things that you didn't know are principles, right? Amen. So I started doing the Saturday morning courses, and that was just to like kind of beginners courses in how do I use Canva, how do I use StreamYard, and just little social media tools. And people kept saying, "Man, Candy, you're giving out these great tools and the knowledge for free, and you're doing it because you're trying to make it happen for someone else. It's going to come back to you." And every class, I have referrals. Every class, someone signs up for an actual one-on-one, which there's a cost to that. And then, what you're saying, it's got me excited because I want to do more. Like, I want to make it happen more for others, because I feel like I've been in those situations where someone is charging an exorbitant amount of money just to get not really take me from my money, but get my money. And I didn't get much out of it.
Yeah.
And then you walk away feeling you have buyer's remorse, A, probably not going to refer that person, B, and you just felt like that you got duped. And that's not I don't think that's ever the feeling that any of us watching this broadcast, as you're thinking about what business can I have, how can I partner with people, that is not the route that we would take, because we want that word of mouth, which I wrote down, which is your greatest marketing tool.
Greatest marketing tool. Greatest.
I'm learning.
I'm telling you, when your friend comes to you and says, Candy, oh, you have to check this program out, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah. Versus if you just saw a commercial, you're like, okay, that sounds interesting. But when your friend tells you, listen, you got to do this, you're like, okay, I'm signing up tomorrow. Yeah. And that's just kind of how it works. Is just give, man. There's so much power. It's called the law of compensation.
Mm-hmm.
The more you give, the more you shall receive. Like these Bible verses are not just feel-good words. Yeah. These are laws. These are commands that if you just live your life out of the gospel, I tell people this, just live your life out of the gospel.
Yeah.
Don't just go to church every Sunday and praise, hallelujah, and dance around and shake, feel good for an afternoon, and then go back home and do the same crap. Don't do that. Live your life through the gospel.
That's good.
And take these laws and say, you know what, this is how I live my life. I promise you. You get the Rich Fontaine seal of guarantee that you will see a shift in your life, that you'll never go back to the way you were. You'll never go back. Because this is where your wealth is, right here in that space of giving and helping others and providing. And, people say Martin Luther King never came out trying to get a check. Yeah. Legend. His kids eats from his name.
Yes.
Oh, you're Martin Luther King's kids. Oh, here you go. Here, take this. Take all of this.
That's good.
Wow. And he never came out. He didn't go to DC making speeches for a check. He did it because out of his soul, he said, this is what's needed, and I'm going to take responsibility to do it because I care that much about my people. Mm-hmm. If you operate in that level, I promise you, you will see wealth in your lifetime. That I guarantee.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This has been so good. Well, you know that now you are guaranteed to be a regular. You're inducted into our team here.
Ask me back anytime.
We should probably do a broadcast on wealth through biblical principles. And so that would be good. I want to thank you, Rich Fontaine. Say goodbye to everyone. He is our guest for today, Rich Fontaine. I want to show your website one more time, thewealthyauthor.com. Also, thepowerofself.com. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in today. Until tomorrow, 7:45, we'll be here. We have a town hall tomorrow, Rich, and we'll be with the candidate for state attorney for Orange and Osceola County, Monique Worrell. We're going to have some discussions around what's happening right now in our country. But more than anything, we're going to connect, and we'll be a place, again, your place of faith in the morning. We hope that you were blessed with the broadcast. Until tomorrow, 7:45, guys, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.